The conquest of number as a graphic symbol is a delicate step for the blind child. The child has learnt the concept of quantity through selection, classification, and seriation with concrete material, and now has to work with symbols in order to be able to represent quantity with a graphic symbol. The blind child has no particular problems writing numbers in Braille, because when presented with them he already knows many, if not all, of the letters of the Braille alphabet, and we know that in Braille the first 10 letters of the Braille alphabet, from A to J, if they are preceded by a special sign called the number sign, become numbers, letter the number 1, B the number 2, etc. The child then uses the operational tools of writing, such as dactylo-braille, to write the numbers and operations in rows on the paper. For the knowledge of numbers first up to 10, then up to 20, then up to 100, and so on, with a visually impaired pupil it is possible to use structured typhlodidactic aids, or common structured materials, Montessori materials, or materials self-produced by the teachers themselves, etc. One type of material does not exclude the other. On the contrary, pedagogical research argues loud and clear that it is important to offer different material representations of one and the same concept, so that for the knowledge of numbers up to 10, for example, it is possible to use tactilely adapted Montessori rods, or rulers, or the number line. The number line. One of the first didactic tools used by teachers in mathematics is in fact the number line, which is a graphic representation of a straight line on which numbers from the smallest to the largest are written. First the house of 10, then in the second the house of 20, and later the house of 100 and the house of 1000. We must not forget that the hands are the child's natural tool, and we must insist that the blind child uses his hands to count. The number line is a teaching tool with which children initially work within the 10 to find preceding and following numbers, to do their first addition and subtraction, and so on. There is no such thing as a tactile number line, but it can easily be constructed from recycled material. And here is an example. Let's play with numbers. It is a typhlodidactic aid for the presentation of quantities from 0 to 10. It is made up of an operational base with a mobile abacus and 11 cards, each concerning a number from 0 to 10. The cards are organized in 3 bands, which show respectively: at the top the object representation of a number, the relevant number in Braille, enlarged and standard, and in black. In the center a short sentence in Braille and in black concerning the number in question. Bottom, the representation of the quantity in question on the mobile abacus. The aid then allows, within the 10, the association between the concrete representation and the symbolic one, and finally the correspondence between the quantity and the conventional graphic sign. In some school contexts, teachers adopt Bortolato's analog methods line of 20, of which there is also a version for the blind. The tool only has a tactile reference, cap, which is inserted on the number 11 to distinguish the two tens, while the exercises are proposed on cards with tactile elements. Balls in relief with high color contrast for the tactile reading of quantities. Abaco. Another tool widely used by mathematics teachers is the abacus, of which there are common versions that can also be used by visually impaired children, e.g. the scalar abacus, which enables the acquisition of the concept of variable quantities within 10. There is a tactile abaco produced by the Istituto dei Ciechi di Milano, a set consisting of several cards with 3 parallel guides in relief, representing the units, tens, hundreds. The numbers are represented on the abacus by placing the attached adhesive felt pads. For the representation of numbers, e.g. for tens and units, however, the abacus can be made from poor material, and here are some examples. Another common teaching tool for mathematics that is used very often are Cousiner rules or color rules. These are materials that can be tactilely adapted by coating each ruler, even just one side of each ruler, with a different texture. As far as rulers are concerned, there is also a typhlodidactic aid produced by the Federation, a game for experimenting with quantities, using the rulers to perform addition and subtraction. For the representation of numbers, in order to understand the principle of the positional value of numbers and to work concretely in carrying out calculations, with the blind child it is also possible to use B.A.M. block-chi arithmetici multibase, a structured material mostly made of wood, consisting of various types of pieces. The short cube, which is worth 1, the unit. The long one, which is worth 10. The plate, which is worth 100. The cube, which is worth 1000.